Welcome to Quick Takes with Kevin, a weekly podcast about leadership, life, and ministry with Kevin Ezel, president of the North American Mission Board. Each week, Kevin will be focusing on how pastors can keep their souls healthy in the midst of the demands and challenges of everyday life. Now, here's your host, Kevin Ezel.
Hey, Pastor, this is Kevin Ezel from the North American Mission Board, and today we have the privilege of having Lance Witt, who actually wrote Replenish, who's going to focus with us on episode 18, iPhones and Your Soul. So, Lance, thanks so much for the opportunity just to spend a few minutes with you, and we're so grateful for the book. But we're going to talk today about iPhones and the soul. So, in saying that, I know technology has helped our life, but we've allowed it to take over.
Yep. Yeah, and it has been helpful, no question about it. It's kind of ironic to me that we're actually using technology to make this podcast happen today. But yeah, I mean, technology has extended the reach of the gospel. It's made amazing content available 24/7. You know, I can go online anytime, listen to a sermon or a message anytime I want. It's increased our ability to be connected. You know, when I'm traveling, my wife and I can do FaceTime together. And it's given me as a pastor tools that help me manage my ministry and increase my productivity. So it's certainly not all dark, but I do think we have to be aware that it's not all also, a benefit in my life. There are some things I have to guard against.
Yeah, I found it amazing. Just yesterday, I took the day off to go by and to a program my grandson had, and I have 6 grandkids, but these particular 3 went to Chick-fil-A, got them lunch, and I had my hands so full with all that stuff. I left my phone in the car and went in, and it was driving me crazy because I didn't have it. You know, I realized how attached I was. Like, what could they possibly need? You know, the world's going to do all right without me for 30 minutes. You know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, so true.
Well, how would you say that technology can be most disruptive or detrimental even to our souls? What would you say there?
Well, I think first off, the first thing that comes to my mind is it carries with it an inherent temptation to constantly be distracted, to not be present in conversations, to, like for you at Chick-fil-A with your grandkids, if you had your phone, you might be texting or checking emails. I think it can cause us not to be present when we're in church. I'm distracted by my iPad or even when I'm trying to spend time with my kids, my grandkids. There's a great saying by a woman who's little known. Her name is Simone Weil. She was so important in the country of France, they actually commemorated a stamp after her honor. But she made this famous statement that says, "Attention is the only faculty of the soul that gives us access to God." And I think part of why technology can be disruptive is it fragments my attention. And I can't pay attention to people. I can't pay attention to my own thoughts or even to my own soul. So I think it's just something we have to guard against. And I think this is a huge issue for the health of my soul, Kevin, because it impacts my ability to be quiet, to just sit with God, to experience silence, to pray, and to even rest. And so my use of technology is not an innocuous thing. It has huge implications for the health of my soul.
Oh, it's just so convicting too. I just sit here thinking, this is one of those that you try to weasel out and you just can't. What are some practical ways or steps that a pastor could take to combat the dangers of technology to your soul?
Well, I would say, first off, pastor, you have to make sure that your technology serves you and that you don't serve your technology.
Right.
So, for example, I'm one of those people that when I see the little notification that I've got new emails that have come in, that's like crack cocaine for me. It's like I can't not go and check the email. So one of the practical things I've done is I've turned off all my notifications so that if I'm going to see an email, I have to go and check it. It's not constantly notifying me. I think pastors and email is a huge issue. And there's this one strategy called the 3-2-1-0 strategy, which is you only check your email 3 times a day. You give yourself 21 minutes. You set a timer. And the goal is to get your inbox to 0 by the end of that 21 minutes. Well, there's multiple ways you could go about it. But my point is that you want to actually, create practical strategies that, help you limit technology to actually what's useful for you. Another good thing I think is just like if you have small kids at home, you have a time at night where you put your kids to bed.
Right.
You need to put your technology to bed.
Right.
There ought to be a time of the night where you you put it in the cradle and you're done with it for the day. And can I mention two books there's two that have been extremely helpful for me in this area. One is called The Shallows. That's a great read. But the other one, a newer book by Cal Newport called Digital Minimalism. And I would just recommend every pastor pick these books up because they'll give you some great practical strategies for how to manage technology in an appropriate way.
Well, that's incredible insight and advice. And my word, Pastor, we've got to take control of our life, or people or gadgets will. And so,
absolutely.
Thank you so much for what you shared today, and also just for Replenish and what a difference it's made, I know, in my life, and the difference I know it's making in Pastor's life. We're incredibly grateful that you put your phone aside and wrote a book to help us all.
Well, thanks, Kevin. This is a topic I have a lot of passion around, and I think it's really important, not just for pastors, but for the people that we lead in our churches as well. So thank you for letting me share a little bit with you today.
Thanks for joining us for Quick Takes with Kevin. Each week, Kevin will visit with pastors and leaders as they talk about the challenges they face and the lessons they've learned in balancing faith, family, and ministry. Thank you for being with us.